Welcome back to Gunners Central, your home for the latest Arsenal news, transfer updates, breaking stories, and in-depth analysis. If you're a passionate Gooner, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications so you never miss any Arsenal updates. Now let's get straight into today's big story. Arsenal's ambitions in the transfer market continue to grow as the Premier League champions explore what could become the biggest signing in the club's history. According to reports from England, the Gunners are seriously assessing the possibility of bringing Real Madrid superstar Vinicius Jr. to the Emirates Stadium during the current summer transfer window. While no official negotiations between the two clubs have taken place, Arsenal's interest is understood to be genuine, and club executives have already examined the financial package that would be required to convince both Real Madrid and the Brazilian international. If the move were to materialize, it would not only break Arsenal's transfer record, but would also reshape the club's wage structure, making Vinicius the highest-paid player in Arsenal's history. The reported interest underlines how much Arsenal have evolved under Mikel Arteta. Only a few years ago, the club was rebuilding after missing out on Champions League football and struggling to compete with Europe's elite. Through careful recruitment, tactical development, and a renewed vision, Arsenal have transformed themselves into one of the strongest teams in Europe. Winning the Premier League has only increased expectations, and the club's hierarchy believes that maintaining success requires constant improvement rather than standing still. Vinicius Jr. represents exactly the caliber of player Arsenal believe can elevate the squad even further. At just 26 years old, the Brazilian is already regarded as one of the finest attackers in world football. His explosive pace, exceptional dribbling ability, creativity, and experience in the biggest matches make him one of the most feared wingers on the planet. Since arriving at Real Madrid from Flamengo as a teenager, he has developed into a genuine superstar, helping Los Blancos win multiple domestic titles and Champions League trophies while establishing himself as one of the leading figures in modern football. His performances have consistently demonstrated his ability to change matches on his own. Whether running at defenders in open space, creating opportunities for teammates, or scoring decisive goals in high-pressure games, Vinicius has repeatedly shown why many consider him among the world's elite. His performances during recent Champions League campaigns and with the Brazilian national team have further strengthened that reputation, while finishing as runner-up for the 2024 Ballon d'Or confirmed his place among football's very best players. Despite his importance to Real Madrid, uncertainty surrounding his contract has naturally attracted attention from Europe's richest clubs. Vinicius has entered the final year of his current agreement, and although Real Madrid remain optimistic about reaching an extension, negotiations have reportedly progressed more slowly than expected. That situation has encouraged Arsenal to monitor developments closely, knowing that clubs rarely allow world-class players to leave for free when only 1 year remains on their contracts. According to reports, Arsenal's board has already calculated the financial commitment required to make such a deal possible. The club reportedly believes that the transfer fee and salary demands would not prevent them from attempting one of the most ambitious signings in their history. Vinicius currently earns around £400,000 per week at Real Madrid, but Arsenal are reportedly prepared to exceed that figure with a record-breaking contract that would make him the highest-paid footballer ever to represent the North London club. Such willingness illustrates Arsenal's growing confidence. The club no longer sees itself as an outsider, competing for occasional trophies, but as one of Europe's major footballing powers. Offering a contract of that magnitude would have been unimaginable only a few years ago, but Arsenal now believe attracting the world's best players is essential if they are to compete consistently with clubs such as Real Madrid, Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain, and Bayern Munich. For Mikel Arteta, Vinicius offers qualities that perfectly complement Arsenal's current squad. Although Bukayo Saka remains one of the Premier League's outstanding performers on the right wing, Arteta has continued searching for additional firepower. On the opposite flank, Gabriel Martinelli remains an important player, but injuries and inconsistent finishing affected his performances last season. Earlier this summer, Arsenal also sanctioned the departure of Leandro Trossard, replacing him with Christos Tsolis. While Tsolis is viewed as an exciting addition, Vinicius belongs to an entirely different category of footballer. Few players possess his combination of speed, close control, and confidence in one-on-one situations. Defenders often require double coverage to contain him, creating additional space for teammates elsewhere across the pitch. His willingness to attack opponents directly would add another unpredictable dimension to Arsenal's already dangerous attack. Imagine an Arsenal front line featuring Bukayo Saka on the right, Vinicius Jr. on the left, and a top-class striker through the middle. Behind them would be Martin Odegaard orchestrating attacks while Declan Rice provides balance in midfield. Such an attacking unit would arguably rival any in Europe, giving Arteta numerous tactical options against every type of opponent. Another major attraction is Vinicius' experience at the highest level. Unlike younger signings who require time to adapt, the Brazilian has already performed under enormous pressure throughout his career. He has scored in Champions League finals, starred in El Clasico encounters, and represented Brazil on the international stage. Arsenal are looking for players capable of delivering immediately in decisive matches, and Vinicius unquestionably fits that profile. There are also commercial benefits. Signing one of football's biggest global stars would significantly enhance Arsenal's worldwide profile. Shirt sales, sponsorship opportunities, and international fan engagement would all likely increase dramatically. While sporting success remains the priority, modern football clubs also recognize the financial value of global superstars, and Vinicius ranks among the most marketable players in the game today. Nevertheless, completing such a transfer would be extraordinarily difficult. Real Madrid have built much of their current project around elite young talents, and Vinicius remains central to those plans. New head coach Jose Mourinho reportedly wants to retain every major star as he begins his reign at the Santiago Bernabeu, making it unlikely that Madrid would willingly approve the departure of one of their most influential attackers. However, contract situations often change transfer dynamics. Should negotiations between Vinicius and Real Madrid continue without resolution, the Spanish Giants may eventually face an uncomfortable decision. Selling the player this summer would guarantee a substantial transfer fee, whereas allowing him to enter the final months of his contract would increase the risk of losing him for nothing. That possibility explains why Arsenal continue monitoring developments despite the obvious obstacles. Club executives understand opportunities to sign players of Vinicius' caliber rarely arise, and they intend to remain prepared should circumstances unexpectedly change. Reports also indicate that Arsenal's recruitment department has analyzed how Vinicius would integrate into Arteta's tactical philosophy. The Brazilian's pressing intensity, willingness to track back, and ability to stretch defensive lines make him highly compatible with Arsenal's positional play. His presence would not simply improve the team's attacking quality, but would also increase tactical flexibility across multiple competitions. Another factor working in Arsenal's favor is the club's current sporting project. Over recent seasons, Arteta has built a reputation for improving elite players while developing one of Europe's most cohesive teams. Arsenal now offer Champions League football, domestic title challenges, and a stable environment where world-class players can compete for the biggest honors. That progress makes the club considerably more attractive than it was several years ago. Even so, Arsenal remain realistic about the scale of the challenge ahead. Real Madrid remain one of football's most powerful institutions, and persuading them to sell a player of Vinicius' importance would require an extraordinary combination of financial commitment, contractual circumstances, and the player's own ambitions. As things stand, no official contact has yet taken place between the clubs. Arsenal are continuing to evaluate the situation while waiting to see whether contract negotiations between Vinicius and Real Madrid produce a breakthrough. Until then, the speculation will continue to dominate headlines, with supporters eagerly wondering whether one of the world's most electrifying footballers could eventually wear the famous red and white shirt of Arsenal. Although Arsenal's interest has generated enormous excitement, the financial reality of such a transfer cannot be ignored. Vinicius would almost certainly command one of the largest transfer fees in football history if Real Madrid decided to negotiate. Even with only 1 year remaining on his contract, Madrid know they possess one of the world's most valuable players. His age, experience, and global reputation ensure that any club attempting to sign him would need to submit an extraordinary offer. Arsenal's owners have demonstrated in recent years that they are prepared to back Mikel Arteta financially whenever they believe the investment is justified. Record-breaking deals for players such as Declan Rice showed the club's willingness to spend heavily on footballers capable of transforming the team. Reports now suggest Arsenal are prepared to make an even bigger statement if the opportunity to sign Vinicius genuinely becomes available. One of the reasons Arsenal are so attracted to the Brazilian is his consistency. While many wingers experience fluctuations in form, Vinicius has delivered elite performances season after season. His statistics consistently rank among the best in Europe, not only for goals and assists, but also for successful dribbles, progressive carries, chances created, and touches inside the opposition penalty area. Those numbers highlight his ability to influence games in multiple ways rather than relying solely on finishing chances. Arteta's tactical philosophy would likely suit Vinicius perfectly. Arsenal dominate possession in most Premier League matches, meaning opponents often defend with deep defensive blocks. Breaking down those compact defenses requires players capable of producing moments of individual brilliance. Vinicius thrives in exactly those situations. His quick feet, explosive acceleration, and fearless attitude regularly allow him to beat defenders even when space is limited. His partnership with Bukayo Saka would also create serious problems for opposition managers. Many teams currently focus their defensive attention on stopping Saka because he remains Arsenal's biggest attacking threat. Adding Vinicius on the opposite wing would make that strategy almost impossible. Defenders would no longer be able to overload one side of the pitch without leaving dangerous space for another world-class attacker. Martin Odegaard would also benefit enormously. The Norwegian captain is one of Europe's finest creative midfielders, constantly looking for intelligent runs behind defensive lines. Vinicius' movement and pace would provide Odegaard with another elite target capable of converting difficult passes into goal-scoring opportunities. The chemistry between those two technically gifted players could become one of Arsenal's greatest attacking weapons. Another important factor is Vinicius' mentality. Throughout his career, he has faced enormous pressure while representing one of the biggest clubs in world football. Every season at Real Madrid brings expectations of winning La Liga and the Champions League, yet Vinicius has consistently embraced that responsibility rather than hiding from it. Arsenal are searching for footballers who can perform in decisive moments, and the Brazilian has repeatedly proven he belongs on football's biggest stages. Real Madrid, however, remain determined to keep him. The Spanish giants continue viewing Vinicius as one of the foundations of their long-term project. New head coach Jose Mourinho reportedly wants to build his attack around players capable of deciding matches through individual quality, and Vinicius perfectly fits that description. Club officials are expected to continue working toward a contract extension, hoping to eliminate the uncertainty surrounding his future before the season begins. From Madrid's perspective, losing Vinicius would not simply weaken the squad on the pitch. He has become one of the club's biggest global ambassadors, attracting millions of supporters around the world through his exciting style of play and charismatic personality. Replacing a footballer of that quality would be extremely difficult regardless of the transfer fee received. Despite those challenges, Arsenal remain patient. The club understand that transfer negotiations involving elite players often develop gradually. Rather than rushing into formal discussions, Arsenal are carefully monitoring every development surrounding Vinicius' contract while preparing to act if circumstances become favorable. That patient approach has served the club well in recent years, allowing them to complete several major signings after waiting for the right opportunity. The current transfer strategy also reflects the close working relationship between Mikel Arteta and sporting director Andrea Berta. Both men share a clear vision of the type of players required to keep Arsenal among Europe's elite. They are no longer interested in signing footballers simply to increase squad numbers. Every target must possess genuine world-class ability or exceptional long-term potential. Supporters have already seen evidence of that philosophy this summer. Arsenal have strengthened selected areas of the squad while refusing to panic in negotiations. Instead of overpaying unnecessarily, the club have remained disciplined, pursuing players who genuinely fit Arteta's tactical system and long-term plans. Signing Vinicius would undoubtedly represent the boldest move of Arteta's reign. It would signal that Arsenal believe they are capable of attracting players previously considered untouchable. Such a transfer would send a powerful message not only to their Premier League rivals but also to the rest of Europe that Arsenal intend to compete for every major trophy season after season. For the player himself, the decision would not be straightforward. Remaining at Real Madrid offers the opportunity to continue representing one of football's greatest institutions, while moving to Arsenal would present an exciting new challenge in arguably the world's most competitive league. Both options carry enormous appeal, meaning much will depend on how contract discussions with Madrid progress over the coming weeks. Until official negotiations begin, speculation will inevitably continue. Arsenal supporters will follow every update closely, hoping that the club can achieve what currently appears to be one of the most ambitious transfer deals in modern football. Whether the move ultimately happens or not, Arsenal's willingness to explore a deal for Vinicius Jr. demonstrates how dramatically the club's ambitions have grown. Only a few years ago, Arsenal were rebuilding with young prospects and searching for stability. Today, they are Premier League champions discussing the possibility of signing one of the world's best footballers. That transformation reflects the remarkable progress achieved under Mikel Arteta. While many obstacles remain before any agreement could be reached, Arsenal's interest alone confirms that the club now sees itself among football's true elite. If circumstances align and Real Madrid's contract negotiations fail to produce an agreement, the Emirates Stadium could become the stage for one of the biggest transfers in Arsenal's history, bringing a genuine global superstar to North London and providing Arteta with another world-class weapon as he pursues Premier League dominance and Champions League glory.